Welcome back to Fire to Fork and welcome to my backyard. I'm going to do today's episode in the backyard because at the moment it's quite tricky to get anywhere where I can have a fire. It's about a 9-hour return trip for me to go and legally have a fire, but it's also legal in my shire. I checked with them, fire danger and everything is at the right level, so it's perfectly legal for me to have an enclosed backyard solid fuel barbecue, which is exactly what I'm going to be cooking today's meal on. And okay, first things first, it's summer, it's December. This will have been cooked probably 3 or 4 days before this episode comes out. So I'm officially on the sours. Try one, the first one you'll probably hate. After that, see how you go. They're not for everyone, but they are for a lot of people, and I personally bloody love them. So, Now, today I'm going to be cooking on this. It's a brand new bit of kit. I've used it about maybe 8 or 10 times now, and sort of tested it out, and I love it so far. It's called the Compact Browse Braai. Compact is probably not quite the right word. This is my normal fire pit. So it's quite a lot bulkier than that. It's compact for a braai. That's important. It's not compact for a fire pit, it's compact for a braai. This is very different to your standard fire pit. It's a lot bigger. It actually weighs less than a fire pit, but it is significantly more robust. It's just not sort of as foldy. It's good quality stainless steel. Anyway, not an advertorial or ad for this. I'm just going to put it together and you'll see what I mean. Okay, I should mention this has 3 heights. That's the highest height. It's 500 mil across, so it's about 50 mil wider than my normal fire pit, and that grate swings out. It's very, very nice to cook on. For camping, I wouldn't have it at full height. This is great for full height for your backyard, and that's what we're trying to recreate here is a backyard barbecue, something I'd actually do on the weekend. For camping, I'd go 1 step lower, so it sits about that high off the ground, and it's perfect. Oh, it's good. Now, I'm actually going to have a bit of fun lighting my fire today because I'm in no rush. So you just get the little thing, and I've got it's called a Mag Strike by Zippo, a little, basically ferro rod, and give it a couple of strikes straight onto it. Oh, if I can hold it, that'd be good. There we go, one more. Oh, okay. This is why I do this, actually, is because when you're out of practice, it's really good to practice a little bit at home when you're not time pressured and make sure that you can keep honing your skills so that if you ever do need to use one of these things, you're all good. That's a little bit of a few dead twigs off my lemon tree. Surprisingly hard to stack neatly. And I get heaps of requests from people to say they want me to do a video just on how to light a cooking fire and how to light a fire generally and a few tips. It's exactly what I'm going to do. This is not that video, but coming soon I will do a few ways to light a fire and how to set up a cooking fire properly. But now, I'm going to sit back, turn this into coals, and then we'll start cooking. The other cool thing about being at home is that I can pre-do stuff and put it in bowls. I would never usually pre-do things and put it in bowls out in the bush. So that was 2 teaspoons of sesame oil. I'd never usually pre-do it in bowls and stuff because it's more washing up. At home I don't care. I'll put it in the dishwasher afterwards, so it just doesn't really bother me. A couple of teaspoons of rice bran oil or any kind of a flavourless oil into there. And then in here I've got tablespoon and a half of ginger and garlic. Tablespoon and a half of each. As always, the full recipe is in the video description, so you don't have to take notes along the way. So what you don't want here is to brown this just yet. You want it to just be frying and suddenly you'll get a big hit of fragrance, and that's when you add the rest of the liquid. Now the rest of the liquid in this case, I'm just going to put all the ingredients up on the screen. The rest of it is basically rice wine vinegar, soy, sriracha, and a bit of brown sugar. All right, smelling good. So let's put in the liquid. Now I'm not going to put a lid on this because I want it to thicken a little tiny bit. Not tons, but a tiny bit. I'm just going to let that simmer away for a few minutes. I'd like to know, I have a big camera here in the shot. Does that annoy you? Does the audience get annoyed by seeing the B cam? Just always wondered. Or does it make it more real? I don't know. All right, that looks good to me. Done. Been bubbling away for a few minutes. I'm just going to leave that to rest and cool down and stuff. In the interim, what I might do is just prepare the chicken, but it's not going to go on yet, as I said, until I have a nice bed of coals. So let's just get on with that, I think. What we need to do here is prepare the chicken in such a way that it will become crispy without deep frying it. That's a lot easier than said than done. There are a few different solutions to this. There are a few different methods. I've previously done a video on chicken wings where I said I'd found the best method. I found a better one. So, sue me. Okay, get your paper towel and then dump all your wings. My bloody butcher was closed Sunday, so I had to go to Coles and get these bloody chicken wings. So I want to this doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to dry them a little bit. Then you get your chicken wangs, chuck them in mix, and this is, I'm going to say half a cup of corn flour, chuck them in, and then it's got about 2 teaspoons or 3 teaspoons of salt, and same again of white pepper. Asian dishes almost never use black pepper, so you want that pre-ground fine white pepper. And then shake it up. Now, if you're in the bush, I'd probably do this in like a Ziploc bag or something, because you don't want to, again, washing up in the bush is a big thing. So I can chuck this in the dishwasher. In the bush you can't. So there we go. Actually, I'm going to put it straight in the travel bra. So you want to bash them off a little bit. You don't want too much stuff in there, but they should be all coated. They're squeaky in your hand. All right, still going to let that fire go down for a little bit longer. These are just going to hang out here, and then we'll do the final steps. I'll see you in about half a beer. Alrighty. Now what I've done is I've somewhat rearranged this, so I've put the coals at the front and the extra hot bits at the back. The reason for that is we're going to have the rice cooking at the back, but also that back section there is going to be generating more coals for the front as we need them. I'm going to grab the chicken and just move it back in the travel bra a little bit. And that is you want them also quite separated. You don't want them touching too much if you can avoid it. Move them back because all the heat's at the front, so you want to move them back towards the heat as much as you can, and particularly the fat bits on this side. Sorry, the heat at that side is too intense, the heat at this side is good. And the cool thing about this design is you can just swivel it over. So I'm going to put this on the fatter setting on the travel bra. So there's a low setting and a fat setting. Put that there. Oh, actually I might put it through this. And that, you can't, actually I'll show you what I can see, so you can get an idea. So you can see that all the heat's there, and under here is just some coals on one side, but it's not on it too much. It's just inside. What you want to do now is get, again, this is just rice bran oil or any kind of a flavourless oil, vegetable oil or whatever. You want to quite heavily baste these. And you don't want to do this over flame because it will flame up. Now you're going to see it's going to get a lot of smoke as this oil hits the chicken. Sorry, as the oil hits the coals. And that will go away. But you want to completely cover these things in oil. And basically it's that oil and corn flour mix that is going to create that crisp on the outside. So you want to completely coat them, otherwise you're going to have basically raw corn flour. Whoop. And this is what you want to avoid, is flare-ups. So that's flared up. I'm just going to take that off, flip it. So what I might do is let these drip off for a second off to the side. I think in hindsight, okay, the way to do that is to baste them over a paper towel or something, then put them on once they've stopped dripping. That technique, I've done it before, but I did it up high and I was over charcoal and it didn't flare up as much when I was practicing this one. So with firewood, that's a little bit different. Good to know. You are learning as I learn. All right, let's stop dripping. So we'll move this all around, get it off the flame. And we'll let that go. And I think that's probably going to take as long as the rice. So in here, there's nothing particularly interesting about this. There's a cup of rice and 2 cups of water. The reason I use 2 cups, not 1.5 in this case, is because my pot has little holes in the top. So I'm going to chuck that on the hot bit so it gets to a boil quickly, and that'll take about 20 minutes. This rice is nearly done. I'm just going to, I've actually flipped this around like lengthways like this. And the reason for that was because this side of the chicken was cooking a little bit fast and this side wasn't cooking fast enough. If you wear gloves, that's not an issue, even though that's over the hottest part. You can see that's just slightly starting to brown now. That's good. That's when you want to turn it. So it's been on there for about 15 minutes. There we go. Flip that. And because those coals have died down a bit, I'm going to drop this to give it a touch more heat. This rice is nearly ready. That's probably got 2 minutes to go. Yep, that's done. Now I'll quickly rearrange these coals. Yes, I usually use long welding gloves, but these are the ones I have on hand. My other ones are in the camper trailer, which is not next to me. So these are the Osprey ones actually, which I use at home as my normal welding gloves. Not welding gloves, but as my normal like cooking gloves in my kitchen. And that's probably got 10 minutes to go. The second side takes less time because it's already cooked through. Insert beer-related time card now.
A few minutes later.
Right, that's probably like 2 minutes away. So I'm just going to do the final little bits. So what we need is a bit of spring onion and a bit of cuke for a bit of garnish. So let's get a bit of, I hate the way they wrap these things in plastic, but as I said, I went shopping on a Sunday, so you can only go where you can go. Okay. And then let's go a couple of these bits of spring onion, fang those ends off, and so you want quite a lot of spring onion there. And I think that is going to be ready to go. Oh yeah, definitely burnt that a bit. All right, burnt a couple of them, but most of them are all right. That's not burnt, it's just like a bit darker than I'd like. Now, one of the reasons I always use an Osprey with this kind of stuff, number one, you don't lose stuff, that stuff doesn't roll away. But number two is things stick to stainless a lot less once they've been fully cooked. If you're trying to, you'll see a little bits of skin here. If I was flipping these things constantly on a stainless grill, I would be losing a bit every time, but because I'm not, I only lose a little bit once. Okay, so serving up, I'm just going to do mine, and I'll give Sam hers later. Bit of rice, In the corner, I'm going to chuck some nice fresh cuke. I'm not going to put the cuke underneath the wings because I want the sauce, when I put it on, to drizzle into the rice. So I'll take this burnt guy. That's right, we're going to have gratuitous B-roll with burnt chicken. It's not actually burnt, it's fine, it'll taste great. Hey, leave it, Fred. Leave it, go on, go away. And then a nice little smattering of this sauce. You don't overdo the sauce, by the way. It's very strong and salty. So it's actually very easy to overdo. Just go easy-ish on it. Not, you know, have some. Now, you can chuck a whole bunch of other stuff on here. You can chuck peanuts on there, which actually are really good. And you can chuck fried shallots and things like that. I'm keeping it quite simple tonight. Actually, no, I'm gonna get some peanuts and a fork. But in the interim, gratuitous B-roll. Oh, let's get the fork. You got one job, mate. You got one job. Spilling peanuts. No fork. I'm doing so well. All right, bugger it. Let's try the chicken. I don't know how it gets crispy, but I thoroughly enjoy it. That's really nice. It's very salty. Sweet, a little bit sweet, quite spicy. It's a really nice sort of balanced thing. The crunch, extra crunch from the peanuts is really nice. A bit of cucumber. It's really nice and fresh. You can also do it with like Asian greens or something like that. Or just make them as sort of beer wings and you don't have to have anything on them. Do this for your home barbecues. Do it for your home barbecues. You can do it in your gas hooded barbecue, that's fine. No problem at all. I'm not going to pretend that I'm anti all gas barbecues at home. I think they're actually really good. I have one. I have a Ziggy for when I want to just cook something really fast. But I just really like not carrying gas in the bush. This, I know the answer to. Does it go well with beer? Absolutely. It's salty, it's spicy, basically designed for beer. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I'm gonna go and nail this. I always feel like I'm cheating when I do these in the backyard. Should go traveling, but fire ban. Oh well. If you're still listening now, let me know what you think. Bye.